uh, as as a progressive political journalist, I bring this message of liberal politology and liberal psychological science as well, in order to fight terrorism. I believe that as a liberal psychologist, I need to mention certain cases of clinical evidence which allows my viewers to see how some people are mired in racism, anti-Semitism, and homopathy and psychopathy as clinical evidence to confirm the existence of homopathy and psychopathy as well. Such diseases like psychopathy have been shunned by most American psychologists who refuse to cite it as a mental disease. Instead, such psychologists like Sorenson and Jeffrey Nivid actually resorted to sexism and racism and wrongfully made racist conclusions without having any statistical backup. They were making empirical conclusions without empirical evidence whatsoever. They didn't have any empirical evidence to base their racist statements on. And so they are saying that African American males are more likely to go to mental hospital than whites is a racist statement. I believe they're saying that women are more likely to suffer with depression than men. It's a racist and unfounded statement which bears no credence whatsoever according to its lack of empirical evidence that might confirm and back up such controversial statement. I also believe that the psychologist must be free of racism, sexism, and ageism in order to not to become a human hater, because racist, sexism, and ageism is based on human hating, which being touted by American psychopaths, and some American psychologists who are psychopaths. And I believe such as Jeffrey Nivid, Sorenson, and another psychologist, Corey, who actually even touted cocaine as extremely pleasurable because he sold out to narcomafia in exchange for corrupt influence. And I believe that cocaine is brain-numbing, harmful narcotic, harmful substance that destroys pleasure-producing neurons in the brain by its excessive heat, and because it contains neogenic acids which destroy pleasure-producing neurons as soon as they hit the bloodstream in the brain. And actually, people who abuse substance, will achieve no pleasure whatsoever, no physiological pleasure whatsoever, not feel any better, except they will just burn down their brain and experience just rush, out of skull experiences, and they will actually destroy all the neurons which have produced any pleasure, because extreme heat from that blood burning substances destroys any pleasure producing neuron whatsoever. It just this kind of substance produced and used by human haters who actually employ it for terrorist purposes. Like I encountered one guy called William Abrego. He told me that he hated Armenians, prohibited me to speak in my native tongue, and he also tried to feed me some cocaine. He had a white powder on a white plate I saw in front of that guy, and he had a large papyrus style straw, which never been actually sold in the United States, unlikely to be sold in the United States, probably Russian made. And I believe that guy was up to abuse of substance, because another guy, who confessed substance abuse to me. He told me he had used cocaine. His name was Minaz Jakan. He also was suffering with homopathy. He was my Russian origin and foreign origin. And he also told me that he would shoot me. He unholstered the buckle of his gun and told me he would shoot me. And actually, he once hit me with a baton. And I believe that I even encountered that one of those anti-Semitic fat, plump young woman named Ani Medrani, who actually shouted to me that a Jew wouldn't get his piece of pie, and actually called me a Jew, and he showed her anti-Semitic homeopathic pies. And she was mentally ill woman, and he also instigated one of his post-command guards, Mr. Tarek Tud, to fire me from a post, remove from a post, because she didn't like my origin, national origin. I'm Russian national origin, and that woman actually were doing espionage against me, trying to find out how much I'm paying for my rent, and actually in order to persecute me. I believe that some guys that work with suffering with home with mental disease, and then based on their substance abuse as well. And I believe that when I called California DA agent, Mr. DeLuca, he tried to suppress evidence. He told me that he wouldn't take down my information from him, because unlike police, and he also tried to suppress evidence. He refused to take my complaint. And I believe that Bush appointees like Mr. DeLuca is just corrupt substance abuser, just President Bush himself. Corrupt neo-fascist substance abuser who was arrested and incarcerated for possession of significant amount of harmful narcotic cocaine in late 70s. And I believe that in Texas area. And I believe that unless the world starts fighting neo-fascism and racism, racist intolerance and substance abuse, we'll fall victim of it. And if I connive to that racism or substance abuse, I probably would fall victim of substance abuse, because such people just go in rage. If you connive to the homopathic racism and substance abuse as a horrible vice, which you give nobody ever pleasure to no human being so far, because just brain numbing harmful narcotic whose heat destroys the brain and made the brain implode. Like showed some hemorrhage brains in the frontal views exploded in post-mortem pictures. And I believe that once I encountered that one security guard I worked with, his name was Jonathan Drew. Oh, that guy showed me a few pictures of exposed female breasts and breast, buttocks, and genitals, and charged me some money in exchange for sex for those ladies. When I called this act unacceptable and told him that it was illegal and immoral act, I never connived with, and he called me police. But that guy was probably racist, and he also was a spy, a criminal conspirator, and he called his accomplice and told me that guy wouldn't do that and stuff like that. And I believe that even Mr. Derek Dude, who was connected with some spies or something, who neo-fascist groups who try to get people to despair and shoot people down and kill them under the disguise of movie, like high crime status crimes, violation of federal racketeering statute, where they do such groups, neo-Nazi groups, because they should pay special attention of those connections with potential movie stars, something like, who use motion picture as a stage for committing assassinations and assassinate extras and political opponents, trying to lure them in motion picture, have them shot or killed with an electronic device, or set them up under explosion or unsafe stunt, and kill them always, and to receive insurance premiums as those neo-Nazis started them.